Greetings. I am Samyo Hangma Rai and today we're going to study the chapter titled Paulo Coelho of grade 9. So let's begin the class now.
Paulo Coelho. Paulo Coelho is a well-known Brazilian author and lyricist. He was born on 24 August 1947 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He had always loved writing and dreamed of being a writer from an early age. He was, however, discouraged by his parents who wanted him to become a lawyer. During adolescence, Coelho was sent 3 times to a mental hospital by his parents because of his dream to become a writer. In his 20s, he was arrested and tortured in Brazil, but always kept dreaming of becoming a writer. After his release from prison, Coelho enrolled in law school and abandoned his dream of becoming a writer. 1 year later, he dropped out and lived life as a hippie, traveling through South America, North Africa, Mexico, and Europe, and started using drugs in the 1960s. He changed his life radically at the age of 36 after a pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela in Spain, where he experienced a spiritual awakening and felt inspired to write the book The Pilgrimage, 1987. 1 year later, he wrote The Alchemist in the course of a 2-week spurt of his creativity. The Alchemist was Paulo Coelho's breakthrough as an international author. The allegorical novel is about a shepherd boy who follows a mystical trek in which he learns to speak the language of the world and thus receives his heart's desire. The book attracted little attention at first until a French language translation suddenly leapt onto the bestseller lists in France in the early 1990s. New translations followed, and soon The Alchemist became a worldwide phenomenon. The book has sold, by Coelho's count, roughly 35 million copies and is now the most translated book in the world by any living author. Since then, he has published books at a rate of about one every 2 years. In 2013, approximately 150 million copies of his books were published in at least 71 languages. Several of his books are autobiographic in nature and deal with spirituality and faith, societal impacts on individuals, and love. His 26 books have sold more than 65 million copies in at least 59 languages. Besides The Alchemist, his other notable works include Veronica Decides to Die, 1998, which mines the perceived mental instability of his youth, The Devil and Miss Perm, 2000, an investigation of the essential nature of humankind, and 11 Minutes, 2003, which explores the boundaries between love and sex through the story of a prostitute. The Witch of Portobello, 2006, tells the story of a female religious leader in the form of interviews with those who knew her. The Winner Stands Alone, 2008, is a thriller set against the Cannes Film Festival. Similarly, Aleph, 2010, was ostensibly the true tale of Coelho's 2006 journey on the Trans-Siberian Railroad, but he embroidered the experience with a supposed encounter with a reincarnated lover from another lifetime. Manuscript found in Accra, 2012, concerns the experience of a Greek wise man in Jerusalem prior to its invasion by crusaders. Adultery, 2014, chronicles a successful journalist's extramarital affair, and Hippie, 2018, was inspired by Coelho's travels in the 1970s. His other works include Phrases, 1996, a collection of short excerpts from his oeuvre, and Live Selected Quotations, 2007, a similar collection of excerpts translated into English. Coelho has also compiled selections from his weekly column in the newspaper O Globo into a volume titled Maktub, which means it is written. Coelho is now the world's most widely read author with several international awards under his belt. He has received several prestigious awards, including Crystal Award given by the World Economic Forum, France's Légion d'honneur, and many more. His fans call his books inspiring and life-changing. His critics say that his books merely promote vague spirituality devoid of rigor. A confident writer who rejects the self-help label, "I am not a self-help writer, I am a self-problem writer," Coelho dismisses his naysayers' critiques. "When I write a book, I write a book for myself. The reaction is up to the reader," he says. "It's not my business whether people like or dislike it." Coelho has been married to his wife, the artist Cristina Oiticià, since 1980. Together, the couple spent half the year in Rio de Janeiro and the other half in a country house in the Pyrenees Mountains of France. In 1996, Coelho founded the Paulo Coelho Institute, which provides support to children and the elderly. Paulo Coelho, born in Brazil in the year 1947, his parents, who wanted him to become a lawyer, however, he wanted to be a writer. Paulo was detained many times and even tortured. Later on, he gave up his dreams of becoming a writer and he enrolled at law school but dropped out a year later, and he began to live his life as a hippie. As he was on a pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela in Spain, he experienced a spiritual awakening and he wrote the book The Pilgrimage. After that, he wrote the book The Alchemist, which turned out to be one of his most popular books sold worldwide. The book also rose to fame only after it was translated into French, and it got the bestsellers list in France in the year 1990. Many translations followed, and The Alchemist became a worldwide phenomenon. For now, it has sold up to 35 million copies, and it is estimated that in 2013, over 150 million copies of Coelho's books have been published that were also in more than 71 languages. He has written 26 books which have sold at least 65 million copies in at least 59 languages. He has received many awards and he's also one of the most read authors alive. His fans call his work inspiring, but his critics call his work which is devoid of rigor. But for Paulo, he writes the book for himself and not how the people take it. In 1996, Paulo Coelho founded the institution called Paulo Coelho Institution, which helps the children and the elderly. So, throughout the year, half the year he lives in Rio de Janeiro with his wife, and half the year in one of the Pyrenees mountains of France. Homework: how does Paulo's life tell us not to give up on our dreams? And how can we overcome hurdles in life to achieve our personal goals? How was your class today? If you have any feedback or suggestions, please feel free to write to us at learning@dearwalk.edu.np. See you in the next class with another lesson. Thank you.